It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Monday, the 17th of August. I'm Michael Groff. The primary weather concern remains the heat, with temperatures again flirting with record highs today. But widely scattered showers and thunderstorms will develop over the high country. The question for today and for the rest of the week really is, will they make it into the deserts? Well, let's see if we can find some answers as we dive in and discuss. Yesterday, heat records aplenty continue to fall by the wayside. 115 degrees was the afternoon high. That broke a daily record. That is also the 9th time we have had a high temperature of 115 or higher this year. That's a record. The morning low, 91. That's 22 days of a low of 90 or higher. We long since surpassed that record. The normal high, 105. The normal low, 83. Outside now, here at 6:45 a.m., some high clouds out there. We are looking at 90 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew points at 56, relative humidity 32%. The winds are light, the barometer is rising. Temperatures out there this morning, 78, the cool spots at Fort McDowell and Goldfield, otherwise low 80s to low 90s for most of us. Here's the upper air look across the country, and it's a high amplitude pattern, and unfortunately, we're on the business end of that, sitting under this sprawling ridge out here in the west. And you can see it's reflected on the watch warning map what that means. Heat, and a lot of it. Heat advisories and excessive heat warnings. Also that khaki color there over northeast California around Susanville and Eagle Lake. That is a dense smoke advisory. Yes, wildfires, huge issue as well. In Phoenix, we have the excessive heat warning through 8 p.m. Wednesday. The convective outlook for today, a slight risk of severe storms in eastern Oregon of all places, with a marginal risk for some of the adjacent states, another marginal risk over South Texas, as well as the mid-Atlantic states, and in Arizona, a marginal risk for severe storms to include the Phoenix metro area. Primary threat from storms today would be wind, potentially reaching severe limits, the strong damaging straight-line wind. Maybe a storm or two produces a microburst. But, of course, there is the secondary threat of locally heavy rain, maybe some small hail, especially over the higher terrain. The tropics in the Atlantic Basin remaining pretty active. We said goodbye to Josephine, and we actually had another system, Kyle, that developed over the weekend. Those are now gone, but we have two more waves here, one approaching the Windward Islands, another that just came off the African coast. This storm nearing the Windward Islands, that's Invest 97L. And this is going to move into the Caribbean, at least so it appears. And most of the models continue to move it to the west and eventually starting to curve it with time. Now, of course, it's way too early to call where this goes and how strong this gets. Some of the models do ramp it up to a hurricane. I will tell you, it is entering a more favorable environment for development. So we'll see what happens there. In the East Pacific, we have Fausto. That's a tropical depression about to become just a remnant low. The moisture of which getting caught up in our big sprawling ridge out here in the west and moving up toward the west coast. And then we have Genevieve off of the Mexican coast, and this will approach Baja over the next few days. This is an interesting storm because some of its moisture may get caught up in our flow, may send a couple of Gulf surges up our way too to increase low-level moisture. Certainly something we will keep an eye on, but it is not going to affect us. The GFS ensemble keeps it well away from us here in Arizona. Precipitation valid through next Monday morning from the WPC. Rain amounts in Phoenix generally under 1/10 of an inch and 1/4 to 1/2 inch for the favored higher terrain areas of eastern and southeast Arizona. But of course, any one spot, as you know, during the monsoon can always get more than what's shown here. This just represents an average across the region. And we'll get into what's going on with this weather pattern. Will we see any rain here in the valley? Let's find out. We'll look at modeling. Here we go, the GFS, the 06Z run valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And that, folks, is a 600 decameter ridge sitting across Utah and Nevada. Very anomalous. And that's why it is just so hot. Upper heights here in Phoenix today, 597 to 598 decameters. That's about the 99th percentile of climatology. So what it all means, down at the surface, mostly sunny to partly cloudy and very hot again today. Highs 111 to 115. Widely scattered showers and thunderstorms developing over the high country. Some of those will try to make their way into the deserts. And will they make it in here? That's the question. Let's look at some of our CAMs, the convective allowing models. This is the HRRR at 5 o'clock this afternoon. It's got a few storms trying to make their way in here. And most of the CAMs show storms getting into the far east and far south valley tonight, whereas yesterday they were over the far north and far western portions. And I suppose that's possible. Again, maybe one or two spots get a shower. I think blowing dust again and strong gusty winds will be the primary concern from storms today. And the reason for that is the instability just isn't really there. This is the CAPE, convective available potential energy, showing sort of the buoyancy of the atmosphere. And CAPE value is generally under 500 joules per kilogram here over southern Arizona. And that's here in the warm season. That's just not that much, but enough for a storm or two to pop. And mid-level temperatures with that ridge just so strong and so close by, just not favorable for really widespread instability and thunderstorm activity. But still, a few storms are going to fire up today. There's no doubt about that. Now tonight, slight chance of showers and storms again in the evening. Overnight lows mid-80s to low 90s, and tomorrow kind of a carbon copy of today. Partly cloudy, widely scattered showers and storms over the higher terrain that will make their way toward the deserts in the afternoon and evening. I think temperatures might be a couple of degrees lower tomorrow, 110 to 113, pretty much the same deal on Wednesday. So we go to Thursday, partly cloudy skies. The GFS not looking all that bullish on moisture here. Widely scattered storms over the higher terrain. The ridge starts to shift a little bit to the south and east, maybe closer to sitting on top of us, so I think that would preclude us from getting storms. The chance of rain in the valley isn't technically zero, but I'm taking it out of the forecast, and that holds true for Friday as well. High temperatures still pretty close to, if not slightly above, 110. Now, as we get to the weekend, things starting to look just a little bit more interesting. We've got our tropical system we were talking about earlier, that's Genevieve, moving up the west coast of Mexico, and more significant moisture moving into southern Arizona if that verifies, perhaps in the form of a Gulf surge or two. Our ridge is shown to move to the east, setting up near the Four Corners and weakening a bit. The upper heights coming down, so that means slightly cooler air in the mid-levels. Better instability and the flow aloft turning out of the southeast. You put it all together, and that spells out scattered to maybe even numerous showers and storms over northern Mexico, perhaps getting into southern Arizona at that time. Now, if Saturday turns out to be pretty active, as the GFS suggests, maybe Sunday is less so, but I went ahead and broad brushed the forecast for the weekend with at least a 20% chance of seeing showers and storms in here. That might need to be bumped up further, but for now, confidence in this solution is still low to maybe kind of low moderate, so we'll just see how this plays out. But if this happens to come to fruition, certainly we would see cooler temperatures. The ridge is shown to weaken, so that would lower highs as well. But with added moisture and rain chances, temps may actually get down to normal or maybe even below normal at that time. I don't know when we've talked about below normal temps. It's been several weeks. Let's go out to a week from today. This is Monday the 24th. Still have our ridge over the greater southwest, roughly around the Four Corners, so the monsoon flow would continue, scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms if that's right. And going out 10 days to the end of the period, this is Wednesday the 26th. Kind of an interesting couple of features on the board here. The GFS is showing a tropical system off of the Baja coast and another one over the western Gulf of Mexico. But if we look at the European at the same time, well, it doesn't have that system in the western Gulf, although it still has one off of the Baja coast, showing confidence is higher that the tropics in the East Pacific will remain active for a while, and that could spell out better chances of storms in here over time. Really depends on the placement of that ridge. If it starts to flatten out as the westerlies get more active, that could spell a decreasing trend in the number of showers and storms toward the middle part of next week, but we will see. Looking at precipitation off the European ensemble, it seems to indicate the middle and latter part of next week is more active. The ensemble mean starts to pick up toward 1/4 of an inch then. But if you want optimism, here's the GFS ensemble. 21 members, every single one of them has precipitation in here during the period. Most of them show rain chances for tomorrow and maybe Wednesday. And the ensemble mean, similar to the European, is around 1/4 of an inch, but they both have very different ways of getting there. All right, temperatures off the national blend of models. How about 115 again today? And then lowering a bit, and I mean just a bit, as we go through the rest of the week and heading into the weekend. No sign of below normal temperatures, but if we really get a good rain event in here any one of these days, we might be able to break the heat wave. Let's hope. And that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video back here tomorrow morning. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell so that whenever a brand new video is posted, you'll get the notice. Your comments, questions, and suggestions always encouraged as well. I thank you so very much for watching. Be safe, stay cool, drink plenty of water, watch your kids around the swimming pool, and you guys have yourselves a sensational Monday.